All right, so let's look at this rectangular coordinate. These are from lesson 72, I do believe. So we know on our coordinate system, we've got the 4 quadrants and they're all 90 degrees. And we usually, for a positive degree, we measure and we go counterclockwise. We go to the left. Well, for a negative degree, we're going to go to the right. And so it's going to reverse. So this is 0. This would be negative 90. This would be negative 180. This would be negative 270. And then we'd be back around to negative 360, right? So we know that it's going to be between 180 and 270 here. So 50 degrees past 180, that's going to be where we live. So this is going to be 50 degrees right here, which would make this negative 230, but our hypotenuse is 5. So we're going to draw. And we can see that we have a positive u and a negative r. So negative r, positive u, which is really all we need to figure out is, where does it live in the system? So we're going to just do this the way that we would typically do this, and we are going to say the cosine of 50 degrees times the hypotenuse of 5 is equal to negative r. And 5 times the sine of 50 degrees is equal to positive u. So then all we have to do is pull up our calculator. Let's get our scientific calculator going here. And we're going to find 50 cosine times 5. And round that to 2 places, 3.21. So 3.21 is your negative r. And then 50 sine times 5 is 3.83 when rounded to 2 places. So 3.83 is our u value. So we would have this negative would be bestowed upon the number. So negative 3.21 r plus 3.83 u. So I'm not sure how you got those values, but you might want to rethink, see where you made your mistake. It might be in locating the angle. I'm not sure. So it's always relative to the x-axis, and it is, when we want to measure a positive angle, we go this way. A negative angle, we go this way. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, so we have another one of these. So again, we'll figure out where it lives in the system. So we've got negative 90, negative 180, negative 270. So negative 250, that's going to be 20 degrees before this. So we're at about yay, right? And we have a hypotenuse of 3. So if this is 20 degrees, and we know the total is 90 degrees, then that means this has to be 70 degrees right here. And relative to the x-axis is the one we want. So because 70 and 20, 250 plus 20 would be 270. So this is our negative r, positive u. So we're going to take our hypotenuse times the cosine of 70 degrees is equal to our negative r. And the hypotenuse times the sine of 70 degrees is equal to our positive u. So again, we just bring up our calculator, and 70 cosine times 3. We round that to 3 places, or 2 places, that'd be 1.03 equals negative r. And 70 sine times 3, that'd be 2.82 when rounded to 2 places. That's our u. So we would rewrite that as negative 1.03 r plus 2.82 u. And that would be our solution. All right, next problem. Little John rode the 28 miles to Sherwood Forest at a leisurely pace. So there, place he's going is Sherwood Forest, and it's 28 miles. He stayed too long at Robin's Lair, and he had to double his speed on the way back in order to get home. So this is the way back. It's the same distance, 28 miles. If his total traveling time was 3 hours, how fast did he travel in each direction? Okay, so we have to figure out our table, and for the sake of having someplace to write our equations, I'm going to do this right now. So our equation for our time, we just have the time there, right? And we do know, right? So the time there is whatever it is. It says he doubled his speed on the way back. Actually, that's his rate. Sorry, not his time. So his rate there. We know that his rate on the way back, rate is another word for speed. The rate back is equal to 2 times the rate there. So our rate, we have our rate there, and our rate back is 2 times the rate there because he doubled his speed on the way back. Our time there, we don't know what that is. And we don't know what the time back is, but we do know that the time there plus the time back is equal to 12 hours. The total time is 12 hours. So we can subtract time back from both sides. And we find the time there is equal to 12 minus the time back, which makes total sense. So we have the time there is 12 minus the time back, and then we just have the time back. We don't know what that is. We just know the total time is 12. So now we can write an equation. We know from looking at this that the distance there is equal to the distance back. So that means the rate there times the time there is equal to the rate back times the time back. So we have a rate there and a rate back that we can substitute in. Rate there is RT, rate back is 2RT. So we have RT, and then we have for our rate back, it's 2RT. We don't know what the TB is, so we leave that alone. But we do know that the time there is 12 minus TB. Okay? So now we can do some calculations. So we've got 12 RT minus RT TB is equal to 2 times RT TB. So I'm going to subtract, or I'm sorry, not subtract, but add 1 RT TB to both sides. Okay. This cancels. I've got 12 times RT is equal to 3, because 2 plus 1 is 3, times RT times TB. If I divide both sides by RT, well, guess what? This cancels. 12 is equal to, this cancels, 3 times TB. Divide both sides by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. That is the value of the time back. So now, if this is 4, Put that in as my solution. That's 4. Then what I need to do is find a value for 4 that is going to give me 28 miles, because I know that's what my total distance is. And I know that 7 times 4 is equal to 28. If I know the time back, I can also find the time there here by substituting it in. 12 minus 4, TT, the time there, is equal to 8. So I can substitute that in as well. So I have my times. So all I have to do now, I can find RB is equal to 2 times RT. But I can't find either one of those without doing this equation. RT is equal, I'll get it right eventually. RT times 8 is equal to 28. Divide both sides by 8. RT is equal to, I think, 3.5. 28 divided by 8. Yeah, 3.5. So there is not 2. It is 3.5. And 2 times 3.5 is going to be 7. And if we said 7 times 4, we get 28. If we say 3.5 times 8, we get 28. So that is going to be your solution. And I think that's all the questions you had for this request with the other 2 videos that I've already sent. So I hope that helps. I'll see you tomorrow.